Brown? What's his name? You don't know.
I do, but I
I know, that's all right. When you get old, your mind just starts again. It's all right. Join the club. Hey, Terry, where are you going up that way for that?
Do they have to renotice? Terry, they gotta
Yes,
renotice?
yes, that's the one that had the difference.
Okay, you gonna make that announcement then, Mr. Chair?
Yep.
Beautiful, there you go. Thank you, sir.
Call the Glassboro Zoning Board of Adjustment regular business meeting to order for December 21st, 2023. Terry, can you please read the opening statement?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, I hereby announce that adequate notice of this meeting, as required by said act, has been provided by adopting the schedule of regular monthly meetings for the year 2023, which schedule was posted on the Borough Hall bulletin board, mailed to the South Jersey newspaper, and filed with the Borough Clerk.
Thank you. Everybody please rise for salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have the roll call, please?
Mr. Ellis.
Here.
Mr. Moonen.
Here.
Ms. Camiola has been excused. Mr. Harvey. Here. Mr. Santor.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Perno.
Here.
Ms. Wyman.
Here.
Mr. Lopez.
Here.
And Ms. Lafferty has been excused. Mr. Casabun.
Here.
And Ms. Corbin.
Here.
All right. Mr. Ellis, would you like to swear in our professionals?
Well, thank you. I'm gonna ask each of you to raise your right hand, and do each of you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
Yes.
That's 2 yeses, Mr. Chair. Take it away.
Everybody has a copy of the minutes. Are any questions, comments, or concerns? Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. All right, everybody has a copy of the bills. Any questions? No? Do I have a motion to pay the bills? Have a first?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So be it. Incoming, outgoing correspondence. Do we have anything?
There was a whole list on the back page that was emailed out to everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit. All right. Is there anybody from the public that has any comments on non-agenda items only? All right, I don't see anybody. Okay. We have a postponement on ZB 23-12, Michael Tilly. They're going to have to renotice to come back. So we have ZB 23-15, Vision 214 East High, QOZB LLC, 214 East High Street, Block 33, Lot 8, Zone 11, I mean I-1, I can't even see. Preliminary and final site plan approval for a 3-storage, self-storage building.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kevin Duke. I'm the principal attorney at KB Law in Hatfield, New Jersey. The purpose is here before you this evening. It is my privilege to present an application on behalf of my client Vision 214 East High QOBZDL. Too many letters. QOZB LLC.
See?
See, I know I can do it. That's okay. For preliminary and final site plan approval. The property in question is located on Block 33, Lot 8 of the borough in the I-1 zone. As this board will recall, on July 20th of this year, the applicant did receive a D1 variance approval to construct and operate a 3-story self-storage facility with approximately 856 units. And that approval was memorialized by way of a resolution R 23-14. We're going to try to keep things as brief as we possibly can this evening. Santa Claus is here for sleeps. So I do have Mr. Littlehouse here as well as Mr. Balzer, who's appeared before this board. I would ask that they be sworn in as professionals in their capacity this evening. So
Well, sure. Gentlemen, I'm going to ask each of you to raise your right hand and do each of you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give is true and correct, the best of your knowledge, information, and belief. Now, even though counsel introduced you, you have the right to introduce yourself. So, your name and your role in this application.
Eric Littlehales, I am from Consulting Engineer Services. I'm a professional engineer that prepared the site plans.
Kevin Bolger from Patrol Architects. I was here previously to testify as an expert in self-storage operations, and that's what I'll be doing.
Welcome back. Thank you. Mr. Chair, take it away.
Thank you, gentlemen, go ahead.
All right, so what we have shown in here on the boards, we have a color rendering here, which I think is already labeled A1, I believe from the use variance hearing. We have a colored site plan rendering, I'm gonna label that as A2. And these will be the two that I'm gonna be referring to.
Yeah, and forgive me, it was the front end of the application. A1 was,
A1 was the self-storage perspective, it's colored. And A2 is the rendering exhibit.
gotcha, thank you.
So the lot is, it's block 33, lot 8, 5.75 acres, located within the office park, light industrial zone, located off of High Street, approximately 300 feet east of the intersection of Delsey Drive. This is a flag-shaped irregular lot. We have roughly, a little over 100 feet of frontage on High Street. Goes back and then opens up to the 5 acres that are in the rear of the property. We are surrounded by existing residential homes, a lot of them rental homes that front on Delsey Drive, on High Street, and then we also butt up against the Borough Commons property. To this would be planned north, but that's east of our property. In addition, around us, we have the, which is planned down to the bottom right, which is Ascenda parking lot, you kind of see there, off there. They have access off of Delsey Drive, and along kind of the self-storage along this southern property line is the motorcycle repair shop that has access off of Delsey Drive. The building in the plan you see here is pretty much identical to what you had seen when we came in for the use variance. The building, there was a mislabeling of the square foot of the building. The use variance had it 115,572. Site plans inverted that number to 752. What you'll hear from Mr. Bolger, the actual building square footage is actually more in the range of 114,552. So any additional, the floor area ratio is actually going to go down from what was approved at the use variance here. So we are proposing a 3-story building. The access to the site is off of High Street. You have one driveway coming in. Right after the driveway, there is a very narrow neck point on our property. So to help save as much green space as possible, we are reducing down to a 22-foot wide driveway, which is a design waiver in your ordinance. So we are requesting that for, hence again, for the odd shape of the lot and then the narrowing of that point. When we get back to where the parking area is and where our loading is, we do widen up to 24 feet, so we'll have full access for those parking spaces that are located in front of the building. Circulation around this building will be in the counterclockwise direction. Around the building, we have 26-foot wide one-way drive aisles, because on the 2 sides will be direct access garage doors, so vehicles will be able to keep parked up, parallel to those garage doors to get in and out of their units, and that's roughly about 12 feet. So leaves 14 feet of space to be able to circulate around the building. At the rear of the building, there is a access door. We are proposing 3 loading spaces back there. So again, this is 3 stories. There's elevators inside, so if anybody parks there, they take their stuff they're taking out of storage. You utilize the elevator that's inside those doors. We are proposing 2 internal loading areas. They're located on the south of the plan, so somebody would actually be able to pull up and back their U-Haul truck into those spaces inside the building, access, unload or load into the site. There was a question in regards to the length of that loading. So with the garage doors open from the back of the internal loading to the drive aisle is over 66 feet, which exceeds the 60-foot minimum loading requirement, that the length requirement that's in your code. The site is handled by 3 stormwater management basins. To adhere to the new stormwater regs, we have to decentralize the location of stormwater management, so we're proposing 3 basins. In addition, from the use variance, we heard the concerns of the Borough Commons property next door. The basins have been oversized. We actually designed them to the new NJDEP regulations that the borough, as my understanding, hasn't implemented yet, but the DEP has for residential projects, but we have implemented them here, knowing the concerns of the neighbor next door to try to get as much volume as possible for these basins. I have talked to Mr. Costa-Boone about the basin, and there is one waiver that we're gonna need, and that's having a basin within 10 feet of the property. There's 3 locations that we currently have that situation on our property. I agreed to modify 2 of them. Basin A, which is the first small basin when we first come in off of High Street, we're gonna modify that, so that'll be 10 feet off of the property line to the adjacent neighbor. Basin B, which is the larger basin, next to the building, agreed against, check lot 5, block 33 owner, on their side property line, we agreed to pull that, again, 10 feet away from the property line. But there is a finger that goes up kind of behind lot 5. The reason for that finger is because lot 5 currently has a little bit of a low area. I want to make sure I was achieving positive drainage out of it. And to be able to do that, I kind of need to have the basin within that 10-foot area. So we are asking for a waiver to have that basin closer to 10 feet to lot 5 at the rear of lot 5 only. The other 2 areas I agreed to make modifications to the plans. The entire site drains on this one, which is to plan right or to the south of the site. That large tree area that's shown on the plan, that is a large wetlands area that we are draining towards, which ultimately drains, continues to the south underneath the bike trail and continues out into the Glassboro Wildlife Management area. Utilities, other utilities for the site, water and sewer. Water is currently in High Street. We're going to extend a simple lateral to the site. We don't have enough fall to get out by gravity for sewer, so we are going to propose a small E1 pump and take that out to the gravity sewer that's within High Street. Lighting that we're proposing 25-foot high LED light poles on the entrance drive-in, and then on the building mounted, we're proposing 15-foot high LED lights in that around the building. So in regards to the review letters, we comply with, or agreed that we will comply with all the comments in the review letter. There's just a few exceptions that I just want to put on record. There is a shed at the rear of lot 7, which is right off the entrance driveway. We believe it's owned by lot 7, but it is on our property. So we agreed at least to reach out to that owner of lot 7 before knocking it down, seeing if he wants to move it back on his property, and obviously empty out any belongings that he has in it, and make sure that we are good neighbors with them. So we agreed to do that. The section of the stormwater, being 10 foot off, do you want me to give you the actual section, or? I don't know if you
No, there.
Yeah, it's section 104-42 E2G1, and that's indicating that it should be 10 foot off the property line. We're asking for a waiver from that. The 22-foot wide drive aisle, that's section 107-54E1. Again, we're proposing 22 feet at the neck down point at the entrance drive coming in with no parking on it. There's the third variance that we also need. It's from section 107-61. It's sidewalk width. For collector roads, it indicates that the sidewalk should be 6 or 8 feet. The sidewalk on either side of our property is only 4 feet wide, so we're proposing to match the sidewalk width with the adjacent properties.
What was that first 5-footer, the basin, 5 foot instead of 10? Section.
The section, 104-42 E2G1.
E2
G1.
D dog?
No,
G.
G.
G, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Thank you.
So there was a, comment in the planner's letter about the sign being set back. We're proposing 10 feet. Freestanding sign's 25 feet, but we are actually proposing to ground mount it. And then there's another provision in the code that says you're gonna be within 10 feet for ground mounted, and we're within the guidelines for the size of that, so we're 10 feet off the right of way and 10 feet off our driveway, internal driveway. And as I indicated, at the use variance, we were also granted the floor area ratio of 0.46, which we are actually gonna be slightly below. We're granted a building height of 40 feet, where 30 feet is allowed, and we were, granted to propose 12 parking spaces, which we show in lieu of the 32 parking spaces, as indicated. And, that is my testimony.
That was great,
That's good.
yeah,
Any questions?
thank you.
Mr. Bolger, if you wanna go forward.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Kevin Bolger. I work for Perry Industrial Architects. I'm the program director for all of our self-storage clientele. The applicant here tonight hired me both in self-storage operations as well as designing the building. Before I get into the specifics of this project, I thought I'd always like to give a little bit of background in the self-storage industry and the type of product it offers. Basically, there's 4 different types of self-storage, generally speaking. The first type is a single-story building or a series of single-story buildings, kind of arranged in a barrack style. I'm sure you've seen them, familiar with them. They're primarily drive-up units. They only offer exterior access, climate control. This is typical older type of facilities, and a lot of these are obsolete and being replaced. The second type is a multi-story building, which offers primarily interior access only units, although it will have some exterior access drive up, and they're predominantly climate controlled. And that's what we're proposing here tonight. The third type would be outdoor storage of boats, RVs, vehicles, and so forth. That is not being proposed here in any way, shape, or form. That's not on the table. And the fourth type is some type of combination of all 3. So, in summary, this is the second type, multi-story building, predominantly interior units, access, climate controlled, with some perimeter units on the outside drive-up.
I just want to interrupt for 1 second. Mr. Littlehouse, the correct code is 107, not 104. Our chapter is 107, so just let the record reflect it's 107.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sorry, go right ahead.
Not at all. So the first thing I'd like to talk about would be the building size, because that was a little bit of an issue there. I don't know if this has been presented yet, but I'm gonna. This is our sheet A 1.1, first floor plan. And originally, it's pretty simple.
Is there some reason we don't wanna just call that A3?
A3.
A3.
All right, there we go.
And that was floor plan, sir?
Yes,
First floor.
First floor.
So we have a building footprint of 38,584 square feet. When you multiply that by 3, you get the number 115,572. However, we have an internal 2-story loading area here. That's 1,200 square feet. So when you deduct 1,200 from the second floor, you'll actually wind up with 114,552 square feet. So if everybody's concurrent with that mathematics, that's the total size of the building. As mentioned, it's a 3-story building. Eric did a nice job of explaining how it operates, but I'll go over it real quick again. So we have approximately, by the way, we started with the civil engineer and the developer right from the very outset to make sure that this was designed according to industry standards. And making sure it's been designed in industry standards, and of course we work with you to make sure it's designed to township standards
And
as
Mr.
well.
Bolger, certainly not to cut you off or interrupt your testimony or your flow in any way, shape, or form. Is there anything particularly relevant that Mr. Littlehouse's testimony did not cover that you'd like to add to? You just want to sort of hit the.
He made it hard, cause he was pretty solid.
Okay.
He ran it down. No, I know. It's true.
Yes.
Good job.
Okay, Absolutely. So I'll just jump into operations, how's that?
That works.
So, this is going to be current time planned as a self-managed facility, similar to the other facilities that the applicant has, is developing. The hour of operations is proposed to be for office hours, 7 days a week, 9 to 6 p.m. That's a 9-hour run. And non-office hours would be 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. Customers do not have access after 10 p.m. or before 6 a.m. And all customers have a key code in order to get in, get out. That key code works for all the entrances, floor to floor, elevators, bathrooms, and so forth. So they're gonna have state-of-the-art features in this building. From that aspect, you're gonna have the highest security. You'll have security cameras in all the key areas, all floors, all corridors, stairwells, internal, external, so forth, whatever. Okay? There'll be remote monitors in the office. Management and ownership can also remote in at any given time, check those cameras and those monitors at any given time. There was a question about trash and recycling. Okay? This is a carry-in, carry-out type of facility. Okay? Customers are not allowed to generate trash or recycling. It's written into the lease. The only trash or recycling that's generated is through the office. There is a trash room located right here, right beside the internal loading area. Very simple. When it's time to get rid of the trash, or recycling, private haulers call, come, they pick it up, goes in and out that
And
way.
Mr. Bell, just to confirm, there will be enforcement mechanisms for, unit owners that have trash that might not follow rules and regulations
Correct.
for disposing of.
For every tenant or customer, obviously, there's a deposit required. Okay? So if you don't follow the rules and regulations, you're subject to losing.
Like a security deposit in an apartment or
That's
something.
right.
There you go. All right, thank you.
As far as security goes, there's always gonna be, security patrols done in the morning, at night, so forth and whatever. Any units that are unoccupied, the doors remain up. So there can't be anything nefarious going on, we do the patrols.
And those are security concerns for both, fire and safety as well as for the trash and maintenance, correct?
Correct, correct. So, as far as number of employees go, basically there'll be 2 to 3. You'll have one on the weekend, possibly a part-timer, one during the weekdays, possibly a part-timer, and then 2 on the weekends, when it's a little bit busy. There will be an office located right here, and, most, it does get real busy, because nowadays, a really good percentage of the customers will become customers online. So they have all that, that's the way to do it now. But obviously you'll have, somebody at the front desk, and customers come in, so forth, whatever. But once somebody becomes a customer, they give them a key code, and then they can go straight, to the loading areas, either the front or back. They don't have to stop in the front area here. So there's less and less reason these days to have more parking spaces by the office and more opportunity to go straight to the loading areas. As far as security locks go, you're gonna have both options. You have manual, where you put padlocks on there, or you're gonna have smart locks operated by, your smart lock. And
Thank you very much.
I think that sums up my testimony. If there's any questions you have regarding operations of the building, be happy to speak to you about that.
Just one question, abandoned units or delinquent customers' units, how do you guys dispose of that stuff? Is it like an auction like you see on TV, or is it you guys have a private company come out, collect it, like 1-800-JUNK or whatever it may be?
Typically, that's done privately online.
Okay.
So you have a private auction, somebody will bid on it, they'll win it, and they're usually told to come off hours to come and clear out the space. So they have to pre-tag, and they have X amount of time to get rid of it.
And the recommendation has been made to the applicants to follow that sort of a pattern, right?
Follow the
No-
process.
No storage wars, glass burn.
Yeah, no.
Operations these days is very, very, very standard throughout the industry.
All right. I believe that concludes our testimony, and we'll hand it over to the professionals and, members of the board.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
All right. Ms. Corbin, you're first up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, planning board members, sorry. zoning board members. I'd like to refer you to our letter dated December 18th, 2023. In our letter, we did identify any additional variances. The variances that were granted remain true. The lot width remains the same, which is at 96 feet. The floor area ratio, I believe, would be reduced from 0.46 to whatever the calculated FAR is. The building height is at 40 feet, which was previously granted. Off-street parking, 12 spaces were granted at the use variance approval, and no changes is proposed on those items. We also have no objection to the waiver being requested as to the 22-foot drive aisle. As well as to the sidewalk width, because there are existing sidewalks on both sides of the streets that is currently at 4 feet. So we have no objection for the applicant matching those sidewalk widths. And we do have some technical comments with regards to the planting design. However, our main comment on that is for the applicant to work with our office to supplement the plantings that is currently being proposed, and based on my discussion with Mr. Lilhales, he'd be able to work with our office to supplement those plantings. And I'd just like to confirm with the applicant, will the lighting be shielded just to make sure that it won't be shining towards the
Yes,
adjacent properties?
all lighting's gonna be
Yes.
straight down, and we'll provide the necessary shielding, back shielding in that.
Thank you.
There was also a comment in the review letter I failed to address, and that was brought up to the zoning board, specifically to save a 50-foot wide swath of trees between us and the Borough Commons. I would like to say that we are proposing to save a 50-foot swath of trees. Most of those are deciduous trees, and we're proposing a double row of evergreen trees on our side to help, provide additional buffer between us and the existing Borough Commons property.
And I'd just like to confirm the comment made earlier regarding the freestanding sign. The applicant is proposing a ground-mounted monument sign, and that requires only a 10-foot setback, and the applicant does meet that requirement, along with the size and the height requirement for the monument sign.
Also in regards to signage, you'll see signage shown on the architectural rendering.
Mhm.
We are not proposing that. The only sign we're proposing is the one out on the monument sign. That's not being proposed because, we're 300 feet plus off of.
Right,
Nobody's
right,
gonna see
right,
anything,
right,
so
right,
we're not
right,
proposing,
right.
not installing. The only sign that we have is our small monument sign we're putting up off of High Street.
Okay.
That completes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I'll take any questions.
Anybody have any questions? All right, Mr. Costabile.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to touch on a few things. Although the most important parts really were hit, I did want to just mention that the application did include a traffic study, which in the basic conclusion is very low traffic flow, as is typical for these type of facilities, and an NJDOT access permit will be required on top of that. So the traffic flows along the High Street will be reviewed outside of this board. I did want to ask the applicant's team, I don't know if I heard it, but so other than what you spoke about, would you be agreeable to the other items in the engineering letter, such as some of the one-way signage and do not enter signages and things like that?
Yes, we do agree to incorporate that in the revised plans.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing, we heard a lot about it, but the setback of the basin, I just wanted to clarify in the waiver, the section of that, the ordinance says two things: no basins within a front or side yard setback, or within 10 feet of a residential property, whatever is closer. These basins still would be within the setback, so the waiver would have to cover that if the board wanted to entertain it, as well as the small part of the finger of the basin that is within 10 feet of residential property. So I wouldn't have any objection to those waivers, with the understanding that right now, the grading, the top of that basin goes right to the property line, and I've, cited that section, and they, Mr. Littlehouse has agreed to pull the basins 10 feet away, which is good for construction, as well as, perhaps leaving a few trees in place between this property and surrounding residential areas along the front. That was all I had, Mr. Chairman, unless anybody's got questions for me.
Have any questions of the professionals? Alright. Well, at this point in time, let's open this up to the public. Do I have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to come forward and speak about this, storage building? Come on.
Oh, come on up. Well, hold the phone. You're gonna come up and we're gonna swear you in. You're gonna tell us who you are and where you live. So, we're gonna ask you to raise your right hand, and do you swear affirm testimony you're about to give is true and correct, the best of your knowledge, information, and belief?
I swear.
Well, thank you. And your name, ma'am?
Janice Fitzgerald,
Okay, and Ms. Fitzgerald, where do you reside?
25 Borough Commons.
All right, and tell the board whatever you like to tell them.
I have a question about fire truck access and fire lanes. Will there be a fire lane at this property, and will there be able for fire trucks to get into this one-way 22 feet driveway? That was my,
Yep, we had a circulation plan, we showed a small single unit, but yeah, fire truck, we did look at that also, we'd be able to circulate into this, around the building, and actually,
okay, so you have fire, where the fire hydrants would be and everything?
yes.
We're not there.
Yeah.
So even we made sure that on this plan, that the fire trucks that this borough uses could turn adequately as
Okay.
it needs to service the building.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the public? Since I see nobody else from the public, do I have a motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. What's the pleasure? On the board?
Mr. Chairman, I have one more question for the applicant, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Could you speak a little bit more to the, I believe it's an existing chain link fence with barbed wire around the property? Is that still there?
Say again, well, what are you interested in?
Oh,
Barbed wire
there
fence?
is
I thought that's what I heard.
Yeah, I believe there is an existing fence around the property.
Is that the,
It's gonna be if it's our fence, we're gonna propose to remove it, because we're putting a new fence in,
okay.
Yeah.
and obviously, so.
No barbed wire.
I don't know if it has barbed wire on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I thought I misheard.
Existing, it might, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's
Yeah.
First
fence-
time I heard of barbed wire.
Existing
Right.
fence, is that
Well, we're all agreed on that.
Yeah,
Alright.
yeah, we're gonna remove that, and obviously we're gonna propose, we got proposed, fencing to go around the basins, and then obviously our secured area, it's fenced in, as Mr. Bolger indicated, you know, keypads to get in,
Right.
inside unloading the
Sure.
vehicles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
As the permit that came forth, I would like to say that we move forward with as it is written. We will go ahead and move forward with the.
Right, so we've got, Mr. Harvey, thank you. We have the applicant asking for, having already received the use variance, basically approval of preliminary and final site plan with some called out variances, design waivers that were spread on the record and are also included in any motion you make.
That's correct.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lopez,
Four.
Ms. Wyman,
4.
Mr. Perner,
4.
Mr. Smith,
4.
Mr. Harvey, Mr. Santor,
In favor.
Mr. Moonen.
4. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you. You have a happy holiday. Have a safe one. Have a good one.
Do we have any reports besides the ones on the back page? All right. Workshop committee.
Okay, I will, if I may,
Go ahead.
Ms. Camiolo is not here. I believe the workshop committee met, but they put a little different spin on it. What they did was they reviewed 2 applications that the planning board had received. One was for D.R. Horton, I'm not sure the other one was for maybe High Street, like 401. So the planning board is going to implement the first of the year, a new way that they're going to accept applications. So they asked if we were interested, and I think we're going to also move forward with what they're proposing. We are gonna look to make one application, that will be a joint application for both board and, zoning board and planning board. So when, and they'll just check off exactly what it is that they're looking to do, whether it's our board or the planning board. Every second Tuesday of the month, this committee will meet. They will review any applications that come in, and they will deem them complete or incomplete. There is a actual checklist that the planner and the engineer will be using, and it's several pages long, and it just goes down and sees if they meet all the requirements. So when we come here before with the applicant to hear their testimony, the engineer and planner already pretty much went through the whole application and said whether they needed more documents to be provided to them, or whether they felt they met the application and provided all the evidence they needed to move forward for what they were requesting, whether it's a site plan subdivision or use or bulk variance. They will be providing the letter of completeness. Once they provide that letter, then it comes to me, and I will assign a month for them to be heard. So no longer will they submit their application 3 weeks before and be put on the next agenda. It might be 2-3 months before they put on the agenda once it's deemed complete. So I think this will speed up a little bit. And
Yeah, Deptford does it that way.
do they?
Yeah,
And
you
we have
have to go
45
before the
days to
one.
review that application once we receive it. So we can hold on to it for 45 days, and once we deem it incomplete, then I think the clock starts again. Is that correct, Mr. Casaboon?
No, after, I think if it's deemed incomplete, I don't know what the clock, I think it's incomplete until they comply.
Until they provide us the information that we need to.
They're kind of in limbo. It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
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 So we'll be a little bit different, so we, I think it'll be better for the board, that we're gonna have all the information ahead of time, that the professionals and, had a chance to take a look at, and along with our zoning officer, and, we can straighten it out ahead of time, and
Streamline the process.
yes, so I'm kinda excited, so we'll be doing a little bit different and revising our application, so it will be a little bit more streamlined for both boards, so, that's what I have.
Sounds great.
Good. Mr. Alice, we don't have a solicitor's report?
No, nothing, nothing to ink. Thank
Okay.
you.
Cool. Any old business? Any new business? All right, before we adjourn, our next meeting's January 18th. That'll be our reorg.
Correct.
And speaking of reorg, everybody should have gotten an invitation to the borough reorg on January 6th.
Did you get one?
No.
No?
I do.
I don't think so.
I'll double check
Okay.
because
We'll make sure.
I confirmed all the addresses from
Okay.
the clerk's office, so I'll double check.
Okay.
got it.
Good, good.
Just yesterday?
Do you think Satili's coming back for January?
They're gonna try to.
Okay.
The professionals said it was okay because their application came back in July or August to us, and the professionals' letters.
No, that's what I was just
Yeah.
wondering. Yeah. I
So
didn't
we're
know if they-
hoping.
I didn't know if they said it, or I was just wondering if you knew there was something happening in January, other than the reorg, or beyond the reorg.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I got you.
Would you like me to confirm as soon as I do?
No, we're just making small talk, wrap it up, little chit chat. That's right.
So we'll have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in
Merry
favor?
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry
So be it.
Christmas, everyone.
Everybody have a
Happy holidays. Thank you.
That was less than that. That was 38 minutes.
What's that, boss?
That was less than an hour. Oh, I